Board of Selectmen's meeting for budgets. Can I please have a roll call?
Nicole Mellon present.
Mark Pacheco present.
And Peter Karen present.
We'll open the Finance Committee meeting with, we've got 2 members on Zoom tonight, so we'll do roll call.
Susan Lorenz present.
Peter Roach present.
Jake Stebbins present.
Tracy Carroll Six present.
Just you, Doug.
Okay. Mr. Mooney, you're up.
Oh, no, we
Hold on one moment, sorry. But there's a reserve fund transfer first.
Oh, of course.
So we have to do.
Yep.
So I put in a reserve fund transfer request for a new RMS, which is a record management system for the fire department. The state and the federal government changed from NIFRS to NERIS, which is just the platform that they use to report fire incidents. We currently use IMC for RMS, and they did an upgrade that I took part in about a week and a half ago. It's not working like it should. I've gone back and forth with them with my frustrations. It's beyond, they can't even give me any reason or any fix in any time frame. So I went after ESO, who we use for our patient care reporting, and got prices from them. That's what I have put in front of you. I hope it's in your package. So I'm looking to use them just to stay with one company within the fire department. It'll be one invoice every year. So that way we can accurately report to the federal government. Right now, technically, I'm out of compliance because I can't report through IMC.
Nicole, do you have anything? No, Mark?
No, thank you.
Tom or Doug?
Yes.
Any questions?
No. No.
Okay, motion.
Make a motion to approve reserve transfer fund in the amount of $4,563.50 as appropriated or asked by the by the fire chief.
Second.
You need the accounts or just the accounts as listed?
I'm sorry?
You need the
Can I
accounts.
just say accounts as
No,
listed?
yeah, that's fine.
Okay. We got a second. All in favor, roll call. Sue?
Aye.
Peter, aye.
Aye.
Tom?
Aye.
Jake?
Aye.
Ayes have
I still have to say aye even though I made the motion.
it.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you, chief.
You go, Tom? You ready?
We're good now.
Okay. All right, Mr. Rooney.
Good evening, everyone. Can you hear us okay?
Yes.
All right, great. First of all, I just want to thank you for allowing us to join remotely. We have a school committee meeting at 6:30, and we have Senator Dooner and Representative Thurber coming tonight, so being able to be in person would have been my preference, but thank you for allowing us to join virtually so that we can be on time for our special guest at our school committee meeting. I'd like to just start by thanking Mr. Patacco for all the collaborative conversations that we've had. I think the first time that we started talking about FY27 was probably in mid-November, and he's also done yeoman's work on behalf of the school building committee through the potential project at Dayton Elementary. So since I had both audiences of the FinCom and the Board of Selectmen, I just wanted to make sure that I acknowledged his work. I'll just give you a brief overview of some of the aspects of not only our FY27 budget planning, but also just kind of some context and also some peripheral information that still relates to our financial status. I'm joined by Leo Brem, who's our district business administrator. Leo's in his has finished his first full year. Now he's in his second year. The training wheels are off, and I've really seen a lot more efficiency in our business office with Tim Lockelade is our district accountant, And then Renee Morby is serving 2 roles. She is both our treasurer and our grant writer. So I also just wanted to take the opportunity to acknowledge Leo, Kim, and Renee. First thing that I want to mention, just in reference to finances, is I shared with the Selectmen and with Mr. Pataco back in December a memo regarding our excess and deficiency. Excess and deficiency is never an exact science, but we also want to be responsible stewards of each town's money. So we always want to try to be as close to not exceeding that 5% limit if at all possible. And we had a very unique set of circumstances that all came together at one time. And I did explain these in the memo that I sent to the FinCom and to the Selectmen yesterday. But just to remind everyone, and for the purposes of the public, we had a delayed state transportation reimbursement. We also had a very high cost out-of-district special education placement that resolved itself. And also, my administration, back in 2022, inherited 2 significant IRS penalties. They were each in the vicinity of $375,000. And we have very proud of the fact that we've been able to get both of those resolved, abated. And when that came back into the coffers last year, that's what pushed our excess and deficiency into the range where there is a turn back to both of our towns. And I just want to make sure that the narrative is correct because this was not inflated budgeting, this was not imprecise budgeting or laziness. It was just those 3 circumstances that happened to us all in the course of 1 year. In terms of our FY27 budget preparation, I think the context is a drum that I've been beating since FY24, which is the fact that the Chapter 70 funding formula for school districts across the Commonwealth is broken. I am pleased that the Chapter 70 funding formula is being revisited. Senator Dooner's office reached out to us today to get some information about our Chapter 70 woes, and I'm going to work with the chair of our school committee in terms of whether he wants me to speak on behalf of the district or whether we're going to co-author some sort of a letter about how over 300 out of 351 hold harmless districts in the Commonwealth are now seeing minimum aid. And in Dyker Hovitt's case, we received, for this coming year, we received $136,351 in Chapter 70 aid, which is less than, it is actually 0.25% of our operating budget. It's deplorable. And just to give you some context, as I mentioned in the memo that I sent yesterday, our FY26 amount, which was by no means generous, was almost 3 times that. It was $309,470. So I have been adamant about the fact that the state needs to look at the Chapter 70 funding formula because the gap has to be made up by the towns, and that's not fair. That's not fair to you all. It's not fair to the other departments that have to, be in a sense kind of pitted against where the school departments have to be in terms of their budget needs. So, however, there is some good news. The level service budget that we start off with, that we always start off with, was slightly north of 6%. That is a process that we use, and I think it's important that I at least clarify what our perspective is of a level service budget. We define level services as the cost of sustaining programs and staffing, accounting for known and anticipated increases, including contractual obligations, programmatic necessities, benefits, utilities, transportation, and other fixed cost drivers. Some people have a different definition of level services. If you operated off of 50 million last year, you operate off of 50 million this year, and that's not the common understanding of level services. We work with our school committee, especially the budget subcommittee. Mr. Jefferson and Mr. Andrade of the school committee represent the town of Dayton on the budget subcommittee, and it's a constant review of the way that we can find efficiencies. And usually it comes in tiers, not tears of sadness or tears of joy. It comes in levels, and sometimes we don't know necessarily what our health insurance increase is going to be. So we have to put in a number that we hope is enough for health insurance. And in this particular case, we were able to say that our health insurance was lower than what we had budgeted for. And so the budget that I presented to the school committee last meeting, which was February 26th, was a tentative budget of 4.35% increase for the district. The town of Dayton at that point was an increase of 4.54%, and increase for the town of Rehoboth was 1.8%. Since then, in the last 10 days or so, we've been able to shore up some additional special education placements for next year. We always participate in a process where we try to do some buy-aheads. If our run rate, which is what we phrase as our budget to actual, if our budget to actual is solid, then we will try to pay for some things in FY26 to be able to lower the FY27 budget. And that's something that we've done in my tenure for the last 3 budgets. And it has not come back to bite us yet, so I'm pleased with that. So tonight, when I meet with our school committee in just a few minutes, I'm going to share with them a very promising update, which is a district-wide increase of 3.61%, a Dayton increase of 3.15%, and a Rehoboth increase of 0.92%. I do want to mention that in the multiple conversations that we had with Mr. Patako, there were times also where Mr. Karen joined us. The town was asking us to have a goal of a 3% increase, and I think that 3.15 is responsibly close. In plain numbers, it's about $21,700, and I know $21,700 could go a long way. But considering that we just received some information last week as superintendents that we may see some cuts to our Title I funding, I want to be very careful because our only Title I funding goes to Dayton Elementary and Dayton Middle. There is no Title I funding in high school, and there's no Title I funding on the Rehoboth side of the district. So that $21,700 is something that I feel creates a little bit of a safe zone if the federal Title I grants do get cut as recommended to us by the commissioner last week. So the last point that I'll bring up before we open it up for any questions or comments is that I have been clear about the fact that right sizing in our district was something that was an exercise that needed to be done upon my arrival. We needed to make sure that we had staffing that was representative of our student enrollments, and we also needed to make sure that we had staffing that was in place to be able to provide our students with the education that they and their families deserve. And over the course of FY24 and FY25, we saw some significant attrition. And last year we were able to claw back with one additional position, but we're still at a net of mid-20s in terms of negative staffing from when I took over. And I have made it clear to the committee that we are very excited about, we're adding 3 new CTE programs at the high school. We're adding medical assisting, we're adding criminal justice and public safety, and we're also adding culinary and hospitality arts. Those programs are going to bring more students to our high school, which is going to continue to drive our high school enrollment up, and they will also bring in additional Chapter 74 funds. There are also 2 student support staff positions that I am recommending to our school committee that fall into the needs of best serving our students. So, as I mentioned, our enrollment district-wide is up by 53 students since we had to submit our SIMS report to the state back in October of 2025. Our high school enrollment is up by 14 students. Our CTE classes are getting to the point where they almost have waiting lists, and Renee Morby, our grant writer, has secured over $275,000 in competitive grants, more than what she had secured last year. So I know that was a lot to throw at you. A lot of it was in the memo that I provided yesterday, but I felt that for the purposes of the community, it was important to share all that with you.
Thank you. I guess I'll stop. I appreciate your work that you did with the Chapter 70. Unfortunately, it's happened, and there's nothing at this stage can be done about that other than the letter writing and the pleading. So I understand that you're taking a hit with that. But a couple of things I want you to realize, I'm sure you're aware, I want you to know that at our level, we have 2.5% that we can go up. We have department heads that are either level funded, one who has taken a $5,000 to $6,000 hit on their own personal income, to others who are foregoing raises in addition to possible layoffs. Why can't you come in at that 2.5%? With the exception of the Chapter 70, I understand that, but we can't just give you money year after year because your expenses go up. Our community, the town of Dayton's expenses go up, and we're obligated to cut as well. Why can't you come in at that levy limit for us?
Well, first of all, that never came up. So I was asked to get to 3%, and we're $21,700 away from 3%, and we have a lot of uncertainty with Title I funding that benefit both of your schools in your district. I'm not certain that we would have been able to get to 2.5%. The 2.5% never came up. So, that's a communication issue.
Okay, I understand. Yep, go ahead.
Karen, if you will.
Yes, please. Go ahead.
This is not just a single year. We are 20 plus positions in the hole from the start of FY24.
What percentage is that?
I would have to figure that out.
Okay, it's all right. We are at our own town level, 10% in the hole in our town highway department, as well as our police department. Not quite 10% in the police department, down employees. And we have a fire department that is growing, that we could use more help, that we just can't put on because they need them right now. We're in a tough situation. I understand the 2.5% is something that was just thrown at you this evening, and you might have to go back to the committee and say, we can't just do more. But we're in a tight situation this year. This is the first time we've ever talked about layoffs. The first time that we've had department heads that aren't taking an increase in pay, which they're entitled to, as well as, like I said, that one department that's even taking a negative, which I'm not so sure is going to happen or we're going to allow to happen. But that's neither here nor there. Forgetting the Chapter 70, I understand that's out of your hands. I don't want to repeat myself. But are there other cuts that you can make that can help us get our down to our 2.5%?
I mean, we're constantly looking at the way that we can find efficiencies. With all due respect, I answer to the school committee. The school committee guides me and guides Leo through the budgeting process. I'm presenting to them in 8 minutes, and if they have concerns about where we are right now, and I will share your concerns with them, I will take their lead and certainly be able to stay in communication with you. We have our annual budget hearing Tuesday, March 24th, so that is 2 weeks from tonight. It's at the high school auditorium, and anyone from either side of the district is encouraged to come to us and listen to that.
That 4% that Mr. Fataco had given you, I think was just for the sake of putting numbers together. I don't think it was carved in stone that it was just going to be a budget of 4%. And with that said, Nicole, do you have anything you'd like to add at this time?
But pretty much all I have to say, kind of mirroring what Peter said. I'm just concerned we have town employees who are willing not to take a raise, willing to do all these things. Meanwhile, I see, and I understand some of these are probably union negotiations, but 5-7% raises, and just saying that next time you go to the table with these unions, that you think about the sacrifices that the town employees are willing to make, because we all need to be a partnership in this. We're a team.
No, thank you.
Okay, Peter.
Oh, go ahead. I have a few questions. There are quite a few entries that says spending needs adjustment. So I would imagine the budget is still fluid?
Yes, basically what, Ms. Lorenz, what that notation is that, we try to monitor spending year over year, things that go up because of inflation, or things that we're not necessarily spending money on anymore. And so that's kind of an annualized adjustment. Everything is an annualized adjustment, but we tried to put a comment in that notes column when it was, upwards of 75% or more. And you'll also see situations where the percentage goes down.
Correct.
By, 50 to 60%, and we put that same note there as well.
Okay, and I do have one more question about the electricity. Now, at the high school, it is going down by 19.68%, where at the other schools, the elementary and middle schools, their electric costs are going up like 5%. I saw that there was some investment in the solar panels. So are the high school panels working and the other schools not?
So I'm glad I brought Mr. Brim, because he is my solar expert, even though he doesn't necessarily want to be. And I will turn it over to him, because we're short on time. So.
The key is, because I can't with the time we have, so all the panels are actually functioning at 100%. You see a larger reduction at the high school because, not because of the panels are our largest array at the high school, and actually is larger than all the other schools put together. So, and we're trying to project those out, and on top of the solar and the brokering of energy that we also participate in, I probably enrolled us in about 2 other programs since the beginning of the year to try to drop those energy costs down. So you may see some discrepancies in that, but it's also the systems in those buildings are all different, right? So,
Correct. And age. If you could by any chance, because I know last year when you came before us, you said there was a problem with the solar arrays. They were only operating at minimal amounts. If we can see a comparison between last year's, the dysfunction, and the repairs that have been made, and what we're up to now, that'd be a help to us.
We can show you some of those yields, and you can actually look at those right off our website as well if you don't want to wait for us.
Okay.
On the website that will show all the arrays that are available.
All right.
Thank you. So, if you want to go look at it, that's fine, but to save you some work, we'll put together a report as well.
All righty. Thank you.
Yeah, just a quick comment. I know we're running up on time. One of the things that I asked for last year, kind of last minute, and I asked for ahead of the time this time was not just the student to teacher ratios, but also administrator to student ratios, and not just over the last 3 years, but really what I was trying to understand was going back to 2019, which I know Mr. Rooney was before your time. With the amount of COVID funding that happened, there was a lot of ballooning in budgets, and I'm trying to just understand what it looked like before the influx of federal and state monies that has now been, taken from us pretty steadily over the last 4 years. And so that's really what I was looking for. So if you could get that just so that we have some sort of context, that would be wonderful. I also would echo what Mr. Karen said. Looking at budgets when we have department heads that are trying to cut their own salaries to save people's jobs, and then seeing 5 to 7% raises across the board and other places is a tough pill to swallow, because it's just tough. It's tough for us.
I understand. And Mr. Stebbins, before we get to the hearing on the 24th, I'll start to compile some of that. Some of the stuff going back to 2019 I'll do the best I can.
The best you can, yeah. The best you can is all I'm asking for. Yeah, the best I'm asking for is what you can put your hands on. I know, again, in my comment, it was before your time, right? So whatever you can get your hands on would be helpful.
Sure enough.
Tracy?
No, I'm good.
Doug?
Yeah, so you talked about the 3 special ed people that are going to be hired.
2.
We had the we had the library in, and they were talking about how they could do things with some part-time people. I was wondering if you've explored any of those avenues to cover your special ed needs, and what else you could do to get closer to that 2.5 budget.
In terms of looking at part-time as opposed to 1.0 FTEs.
Could you handle the load with a, one additional hire and a part-timer? How could you creatively work through that?
They're 2 different buildings, but certainly, this feedback's not, this feedback is valuable. My school committee is waiting for me, I'm sorry, but, we'll put together some more additional information prior to the hearing on the 24th.
Thank you.
Tom, anything? You good, Tom?
Good.
Thank you, Bill.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bristol Plymouth on there?
We don't have anything with the Plymouth Arch.
Okay.
Everybody saw the emails on Bristol PP's.
Mm-hmm.
Laura, are you doing council on aging?
Yes, Bella was coming as well, but I can start just so that.
Yeah, if you don't mind.
Yeah, sure.
Before she comes on up,
Yes.
if you wouldn't, I'm going to read what I thought might be a good thing, since our meeting for that was not televised, that it might be good for people like Woody watching on Tuesday evenings to be able to get some of the background on it from home. So I wanted people to understand what happened with the pro argument in the mailer. The Finance Committee was asked to write the pro argument for the mailer in January, towards the end of January. Committee met and agreed that we would write it. However, it would not be any type of hype, scare tactic, hyperbole. We'd strictly write the facts. What happens if the debt exclusion fails? We've already done an exercise on what payroll represents out of the town budget as opposed to expenses besides the school. That was roughly 82% of the budget is payroll and not expenses. So we knew coming into this that there was not going to be any room in the expenses to be able to make up for $800,000 of debt. We asked the question. We had not seen the budget numbers yet, so we were told with no debt exclusion there would be layoffs. These are the current positions that would be cut, subject to change, obviously, because the budget process is fluid. Basically confirmed the work that we had done last year, that without a debt exclusion, layoffs would be inevitable. Positions themselves certainly were going to change, but fact was there would be layoffs. We'd been working on options that did not include a debt exclusion for years. However, we were either squeezed everything we could out of those items, or for various reasons just couldn't happen. Things like enterprise funds for trash, or some way to charge for recycling. I understand right now the budget, the positions have changed as far as where but we're still talking layoffs without an exclusion. It's just a matter of what those positions are. One obvious thing that's come up through the budget process so far, and we just talked to school tonight, we're talking to the police tonight, but through fire and through highway, some of the issues that are going to come up from cutting any more expenses, including the highway trucks that are over 30 years old, the fire department vehicles that are now have to be scheduled for repairs with the fingers crossed that nothing happens, we can make it to another year. The Finance Committee did not recommend or approve or in any way want layoffs, and that's why we wrote the pro for that mailing. I wanted people to make sure they knew that.
Guys have anything more to add? No, thank you. Okay, Laura, come on up, please. We're taking this out of order because nobody from Bristol Plymouth is on yet. And Laura's here on behalf of the Council on Aging. I know she said she was going to
probably
come.
walk in any second now, to be
Okay.
honest. I did
She's usually
prepare.
early.
Yeah, I did prepare. Last year we had a little presentation too, and I prepared that. I was in Cable Brain, so I forgot to plug it in. I do have paper copies though, if anyone wants it to follow along. I can pass those out. But you'll see, we created a budget pretty similar to last year's for the most part, aside from the request from the town administrator. The original request to Bella at the time during their first meeting was if the debt exclusion were to fail, that the office manager position should be removed. So there is a budget that was presented from RCOA based on that recommendation from the town administrator. And then we have since received last week a recommendation from the town administrator that if the debt exclusion were to fail or pass, to fund that position. So you'll see there is definitely, oh, she's here. Thank you, take over. So awkward.
It was supposed to be 6:45,
It
correct?
was.
It's just early for selected.
The one before you, they're not yet.
Oh, all right. Good evening, everyone.
I started.
Okay.
Pick up where I left off.
Thanks, Laura.
You're welcome.
And what was the question that Laura was answering?
She wasn't, she was just starting off at kind of the overview between the two different budgets as I presented, what the differences were. So there was no question yet, just kind of starting off and getting her feet wet.
Perfect amount. Look at that. You want me to stay or?
I'd love for you to stay. Thank you. I appreciate that. So you see that Laura just handed over beautiful work that she did. And that explains about what has been happening in the Council on Aging for the past 3 years. As you can see the graph, we have made extensive positive work in the past 3 years that we have been working at the Council on Aging post-COVID. And we were approached with a cut, and we did do what was asked by us by town accountant and town administrator. And then we were told that possibly that one of our positions could be saved. So we wanted to let you know. I don't know how Mr. Vitaco came to that conclusion. We're happy that he did, and we hope that it does go forward. We wanted you to know that our budget is as streamlined as it can be. In order for this Council on Aging to succeed in the future with the rise in numbers of elders in the town of Dayton, this department will not be able to function and complete the important work that is coming through that I've seen in the past 3 years of the need for applications for services like food stamps or insurance needs or heating assistance. I have never seen such a need in the 19 years that I have been here. And we will not be able to do this job if our department is cut in hours. I can tell you that from experience. We do above and beyond for Dayton residents, and our budget cannot be cut in a sense where we benefit, I guess, the town and the tax purposes, but your constituents will go without if this department gets cut. That's my personal opinion. I've worked with the elderly for 45 years. I know the system, and the system is changing, and not for the better for our low income. And you do have a lot of low income in the town of Dayton. Who knew, right? And these people are coming to us day to day with such problems, from homelessness to food insecurities to heat insecurities. We're actually a little bit overwhelmed at the moment with the things that are coming to us, to our plate. So Laura presented this beautiful thing. This is what our money gets used for. And as you must know, we do have some grant money that we do utilize on a monthly basis to pay off all of the things that we offer to our residents, from programming to many things. I'm getting nervous, so I'm going to, I think, turn it over to Laura, because she's not shy of speaking in front of people.
You're doing great. Don't worry about it. Yeah, you're fine.
I guess I'll just ask if you have questions, ask us. Let's put it that way. There's a lot of information, but I know it's our budget's a little bit, I don't want to say complex, but we have other funding sources, and I wanted to be transparent about that and how that funding is used, and how we're pretty much stretching every aspect we can. And thankfully, Bella has found us a handful of grants that have helped kind of build up some of the formula grant that we get every year from the state. So, but they're very limited grants. One grant that pays for our outreach worker, who's currently on leave, ends in October, and it may extend for a year pending what the state can give Bristol Aging and Wellness. So we do pay a staff out of that grant. That's what pays our newsletter that everyone really enjoys receiving by mail, which is very expensive. So if there were to be cuts, a lot would change in our department if that is what ends up happening. It will be a very different council on aging that would move forward if that is the case.
I do have to say, I was really shocked when I read in the Strawberry Vine that 1 out of 3 residents are over the age of 60.
Correct.
Yes, I believe that.
And then in 2030, the U.S. Census Bureau just stated that for the first time in history, there'll be more people over the age, was it 60 or 65?
60.
Over the age of 60 than
Those under the age of 18. So I don't know who's going to take care of us, but
hopefully me. So the population is growing. The need is very clearly growing from the first graph. We had that on the front page of our newsletter as well. It's a busy department, and it just won't function the same if there are major cuts.
You had mentioned last year that there's some grants that you get on an annual basis, but they're obviously not promised. Have you noticed any change in?
our formula grant, which comes from the state of Massachusetts, the Executive Office of Elder Affairs, that's a given. Although we used to get it all in one sum, and now we have to wait 6 months and we'll get out of it.
They do it now in quarters. They used to do it half full, then they went from half to half, and now we've noticed we're receiving it quarterly deposits. But the grants that we were receiving, the other grants I should say, that Bella had gotten us, because the COA never really applied for those types of grants, and the state obviously looks to make it fair for each council on aging. We thankfully received, it was $200,000 worth from the Executive Office of Aging and Wellness and the Massachusetts Councils on Aging. We have continued, because we're always applying for grants, we have been getting denials, and we're not taking it personal. It's a fairness game, which we totally understand. But I think that kickoff from the first 2 years we reopened was rare, because we never applied for something and they knew that. So they thankfully gave us that. But now it's definitely coming far in between, aside from that annual state formula grant that every council on aging in Massachusetts is allotted. You'll see that it's not a definition, but it's based off of $16 per resident in town that's 60 and older. So that will fluctuate. It's nothing extremely major, but that on the slide somewhere in here, slide 6 on page 3 shows what we use to pay that, pay out of that. And that also fluctuates based on how much we have received that year. And we would tweak our programming based on what the seniors want too, but also based on our funding.
Are there private grants you get too?
We do, I was just gonna say, we do reach out to private banks and foundations, and those are all the denial letters we've gotten this past year. So we haven't been that lucky with those. The thing is that the federal government gave the state a lot of money to the Executive Office of Aging and Wellness, so we were able to apply for a lot of federal grants in 22, 23. And there was many grants coming out, and we just applied to all of them, and we happened to get all of them. And so this past year, not so lucky.
We did get a local bank approval, but it's not as,
Little small $2,000.
yeah, smaller amounts
We
based
did get it. Bakos Bank did give us $2,000.
Yeah, shouts to Bakos Bank, thank you.
So
But we those ones are, the ones we even see available are much lower compared to what the state and the federal ones would be, that, because we're looking mainly for our outreach coordinator position. It's a lot of work, and when she's out and she is part-time, it falls on the office manager position, so it's a lot of work to handle, and if we don't have a grant that can help fund a position for that too, to offset, to kind of tag team it all, there just won't be as much help that we'll be able to offer, because they're timely appointments for different, it depends on the service that the person is looking for, but it kind of ranges, honestly, from anything.
Well, you shouldn't sell yourself short. You did an outstanding job, and you have a difficult job to do, and you do it so well, you and Laura. The selectmen had decided about 3 weeks ago not to cut the office position. And you affect so many people, and your budget is minuscule compared to what you do. I understand the grants are not going to be there. You got them up front because, again, you hadn't applied, but now you're in same boat as everyone else who wants those grants, and it's going to be tougher to get them. And I know you do so well trying to get those, and we appreciate that. Is primetime still financially viable for you?
Yes,
I know
so,
there's a net gain, but are the numbers skewed at all?
no, so on the last page, I did,
Yeah.
because it is, thank you for bringing it up, so Prime Time, just to explain it to anybody who doesn't know, is a supportive day program that we offer through the Council on Aging. There is a fee associated to attend. It's $50 per day. That's paid either privately, or they have funding from, if they're a client with Bristol Aging and Wellness, they actually pay for the client to attend our program. So you'll see the income. We did that based off calendar year. I didn't do fiscal year for that. But the monthly income average covers what we pay out for that prime-time, part-time staff. We have a full kitchen where we offer them meals, so it pays for the Hannaford bills, water jugs, office supplies. Thankfully, because they utilize the program in our space, we can kind of, I don't like to use the word double dip, but we kind of do when we can offer programs on a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. It's technically, obviously, for the primetime clients, but we open it to the public so that it helps the community too. So we find ways to get creative with the money from primetime as well. Right now, there's a net of $46,000. I pulled those numbers yesterday. So we do have some ideas of what we'd like to do with that money because it's a shared building space. There are still some building upgrades that needed to be completed. So we have rough plans and proposals of things to do with that money to benefit the building space that's used for everybody, not just the program. So that's kind of the bonus of being able to offer that, not only obviously for caregivers to have a program for the loved ones to attend for the day, but it helps anybody who attends anything at the COA as well.
Sure. Nicole, do you have anything you want to add?
No, and all three of you do a fabulous job. Obviously, always loved the Council on Aging, but even more so now, my mother is now attends her council on aging, not in Dayton, but the way she talks about it and the things she has to do, I know that's happening here too, and it's just so important. Same with prime time. I have a family member needs that kind of care, to know that you guys do that. I don't think people realize until you have somebody that cannot take care of themselves, what kind of service that is, and that we can give that to residents. Like, I'll fight tooth and nail for that. So thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mark, do you have anything? No. Okay. Guys, you
What's your average for the prime time? How many clients?
Client-wise,
15.
right now,
Okay.
And the capacity is 20, so we can't accept 20 based on the building code.
We opened up with 8 after COVID.
You've done a lot of work over there. You have come a long way.
We had come along, yeah.
Is that 15 mostly Dayton?
Yeah,
Mostly Dayton. We do have some other timers, but like the moment, they're mostly Dayton.
No, this is great. Hoping you guys love the new equipment that you guys are getting, and the new surfaces and all that. Now it's going to be safer for people to come and visit you, and that'll be great. And yeah, keep it up.
Doug or Tom?
Good. Thank you.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. This is my thing. You know, me, right?
Great job.
thank you.
Thank you.
Bristol Aggie, Bristol Plymouth,
They had sent us
the information.
for the package on Friday. The news here, we didn't necessarily confirm because we got it, and they said included in the package, so I don't know where they're at, so if you're not here by the end of the evening, you could,
Okay.
you guys could make a determination by then.
You're up, Mr. Veterans Agent.
Oh, it's me.
No sleeping on the job.
No, it's already been a long day. Evening.
How are you today?
You have before you the FY '27 budget exclusion and with exclusion. I don't know if there's any questions.
How come the veterans benefits are such an increase this year?
Well, last year, we went with pretty much what we had and level funded.
Yep.
And we ended up with 4 new veterans coming on Chapter 115.
Okay.
And the average payout is about $7,000 a year. So we found ourselves at the middle of the year at the special town meeting asking for an increase, which was granted into this budget. So we did it again. We kept it at 0 base, so kept it without any increases. If we do have some, then we're gonna have to increase it again, and we're mandated by law. Which the good news is you get 75% reimbursed on that line item from the state. The bad news is they pay a year later. We pay it today, you get your refund in a year.
Okay.
So the logic was, if we are fortunate enough to have the debt exclusion pass, which I recommend, we'll be able to get some of that, whatever you decide. I mean, any part of it is good for us. If we don't, we're willing, I do my best to get the budget together. You can see there's not many other line items that I can take from to balance that. And I don't have an income side, so I'm kind of, although we do get one income, we still get it right from the town of Berkeley. That wraps into the general fund that you're not gonna see here. I think it's 4,500, right?
42?
42.
And why do we get that from Berkeley?
Well, I guess years ago, that's what they decided to do, a municipal agreement between the 2 towns, which I'm appointed by both towns as the VSO.
Okay.
But because all their records and practically sometime more Berkeley people come through the door than they do Dayton, and they rent that space. So so that's basically what it is. I wouldn't be embarrassed to say you might wanna revisit that and see if, they have any more to put into it, because it's an older number, and they'll
Right.
probably say, we don't have any money either, but it's not, you know, you don't ask, you don't get, so
Right.
might be an idea.
So you're saying the 48 that they're asking for, if the debt exclusion passes, we would get 75% of it back, but we get it a year later?
If we spend it.
If we spend it.
If we spend it. We can't predict how many we will get. It's a program that services mostly senior veterans, and a lot of times one-income veterans. That's usually when they come, is if they were two income and one income falls off, then they become eligible. And we can't predict, because the age of the veteran here in town is probably around almost 80 when all of the ones we have and the ones we might get. Yes. So it's hard to predict. I was way off last time, because nationally, veteran population is decreasing.
Right.
Okay? Quite a bit. There's a big fall off. World War II veterans, now Korea veterans, Vietnam veterans, believe it or not, they've always been different. A lot of them don't even want it. They don't even want to talk about it. So we had that window, but now the window's opening again, where some of the Gulf War veterans are getting to the age of needing the assistance. And it's mandated, so.
You're saying it's $7,000 per?
Roughly 7,000 per, but there's other things that wrap into it. If you get Chapter 115, you're eligible for fuel assistance, even if you're getting the Citizens for Citizens type thing, you're eligible for that. You're also eligible for all medical co-pays and, say, for instance, like a Part B off of a Social Security check, that gets reimbursed.
So how many people is budgeting for the extra 48 that you put in the budget?
4.
4?
Which the math might not bear out at 7 times.
Yeah, rough math, yeah. Napkin math, right? That's fine. And we did have 4 last year, so.
We did have 4 last year.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, we really don't know.
Is there anything, so to know, maybe to even to get a better idea of the numbers, anything that you, in conjunction with the assessor's office, for people who are getting exemptions from the assessor's office, we might be able to figure out how old they are and to be able to get an idea, a better idea.
No, it really don't work that way, because the ones that would be in the assessor's office are already receiving a compensation disability pension.
Okay.
And most of them are 60 to 100%. So they wouldn't qualify anyway because of their income levels.
Okay.
To give you some numbers, we talked about 7%. Dayton has approximately 450 or so veterans in town. And the rule of thumb used to be 7%, which is pretty close. And for the most part, the numbers have stayed pretty steady. We just had that fluctuation over the last 3 years. 4 years ago, this budget was over $60,000 for veterans on that line item. And each year, we try to go with the attrition, and we were down to 4. And then after we reduced that line item, which now you got to put it back because it was gone, now you end up with 9 again. So, and I know Dayton historically, I did some looking into it when I talked to Don Hershey. Dayton was up to around 15 or 18 at one time, maybe 20 years ago. So that's where we're at. And as you can see, the rest of the budget's really, there's no increase there. We don't have a lot. We've been fortunate to be able to put on our veterans breakfast, which has been very successful in town. That's pretty much doesn't rise in price, and we have the other civic event on Memorial Day. We have very little use or maintenance on any of our vehicles, and payroll, what it is, I'm in here for, I think, 12 hours, which I do, and then there's been some adjustments on the disbursement of the ratio between the office manager, is, am I correct on that?
Yes.
Which ends up to almost the same dollars, so. We'll do our best to make either one work.
Thank you, sir.
Whatever works.
You guys set?
I'm good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Doug?
Yeah, I think you do a wonderful job, and I think that our veterans deserve to have their needs met. And just thank you for what you're doing, and thank you for the, for the good stewardship that you're doing in that job. And I just, want to see the other departments be able to bring their budgets into line so that we can do more for our veterans.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate it.
Bill, do you want to come up now? Waiting? Just coming?
Yeah.
Okay. We'll go to
Through the chair. If
Yeah,
you want-
chief.
You want the chief to do it?
Yeah.
Or I could do the building, it's a much shorter budget.
let's have the police chief do it, I guess.
Okay.
Yep.
Everybody?
Evening.
So on the inside of the budget, there's obviously no debt exclusion. There was only slight increases in things that are contractual, like wages, from the CBA. Which affects, obviously the full-time salaries, the patrolmen, and the overtime obviously will slightly go up. But everything else, we pretty much level funded. And then when we met with Mr. Fataco during our budget meeting, we, going into the 70 account expenses, we reduced that down to 40,000 for the 5,300, which is professional and tech. Which a lot of different things come out of that line. As far as yearly expenses for different things. And then the 5580 line, which is other supplies and equipment, we reduced that from 14.5 down to 13.5. Which a lot of things that come out as well. But the professional tech, just give you some examples of what comes out of that line, which can't go down too low in it because of the increases in fees and software stuff and radar certifications, the new hire to replace the Kenny Omita for the academy costs, and prisoner watches and things like that. Every time someone gets locked up, we do get fined, billed for that, for sending someone to the house. So those kinds of things come out of that line. So that's an important line. And then obviously other supplies, taser cartridges, ammunition. If we need to go into that, if we don't have a lot in the revolving range account, as well as ongoing mandatory annual obligations like child care kits, ID kits, and stuff. Things we do with the schools. Those kind of things come out of that.
Said 2 questions for you if you don't mind. How is the HVAC situation going?
So that project started. Okay. They sent the IT guy out from their company to start downloading all of our information from our current program. Yes. And then that guy up and quit. So it's funny that you asked us 3 weeks ago. I'm like, what's going on here? Like, saw you guys around the new year and haven't seen you since. Their guy up and left. So they're in the process of training the new guy, which is really good because we have Johnson Controls in our building, so this guy is coming from Johnson, so it's actually kind of a blessing in disguise that maybe this other guy left,
Okay.
It is a slow moving process, but it is gonna happen.
In process. And then, is the new cruiser in yet?
It is not. Hopefully within 1 week or two, the storm set everything back. So within a week or two, it'll be in. Fingers crossed.
I do have a question on your subscriptions and dues. That's up almost $1,800.
That is because of the increase of everything, the membership fees, everything that goes up every year. I mean, it's,
Wow.
yeah.
So the other thing is, did you say we pay our candidates to go to officer training?
In service training, yes, we do. Yes.
Okay. After we train them, is there anything in the contract they've got to stay with the town for so long, or?
So it's funny you asked that. Towns tried that years ago, and there was a case study on it that we can't bind them from staying. But we haven't had any issues with candidates that have gone to the academy and then left. Back when I started in 2005, there were 2 guys that left for the state police, but there's been nothing since then. Everyone that we've sent to the academy has stayed. Yes. The only ones that have left have been laterals, like Henry was already trained through the sheriff's office, and he was here for the few years, but we did not send him to the academy.
Okay.
You can't make them stay, but you can also ask them to reimburse you for the training.
Yes, you can.
Yes.
We can ask them to reimburse us for the academy fee, which is $3,200.
Okay. The school resource officer is getting a 5% raise.
The school resource officer is getting
5.5.
5.5, and your deputy is getting 10.8%. Did he do something?
the deputy chief is finishing his associates. That's the 10%, and the 2%. And him and I have we're not taking that increase.
Is that 5106?
So that's 5109, and
Okay.
5106 is. So I believe that might be is that a milestone for, I believe, for the SRO?
It could be. That's why I was asking.
That'd be a milestone.
Okay.
Milestone raise?
Yeah.
Which is a contractual thing?
I have a question about, so in the high school, you have an SRO.
Correct.
And that is obviously a Dayton Rehoboth High School. But does Rehoboth have anything to do with, like,
Sharing the
helping,
salary?
yeah, fund that or anything?
Well, the district pays for.
Okay.
At the high
Okay,
school.
so the district pays
Yes.
for it. Okay, so they do
And
fund it.
And then the elementary and middle school, where Zero Bennett is funded under the police.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, so basically, even though the line item is 185, we only see the 90 or 95 or whatever for
The
whatever
district
one
pays
we're paying
one,
for.
And we pay for the other.
Gotcha. Okay.
So at times when we need, for training, to answer your question about trainings and things of that nature, we consider overtime. If we have to move a body for the day and reassign, we do keep overtime costs down. So it's not like we're, inflating the lines, especially more so in the past couple of years. We've been really hammering on that, moving people around instead of just putting out for overtime because we're short of body. So we've been super frugal with how we issue overtime.
How many officers are you short?
Two, technically, one right now that we never, the former chief,
Right,
yes, we never replaced him.
okay.
So 2 would be like nice, but 1 is like the answer
Okay,
that we have never reached that.
okay. And then, one other quick question. Your administrative assistant on line 5110, is that person contractual?
And yes, it's my administrative secretary.
Is that negotiations as well?
It is in negotiations.
Overtime wise, through through December, you're right at the 50%. Spend for this year.
Yep. I'm trying to find my sheet here. So many papers.
over the last 5 years, we've roughly spent about 60% of it in the last 6 months of the year.
Injuries.
Put on your glasses when
Yeah.
you see these last 6 months.
So injuries, we've been, the past couple of years we were hit with. That's why there was such an increase in the overtime last year, as well as training that was mandated when we switched firearms. It was mandated days that we required, per officer on the range. So there was a huge increase in the overtime last year compared to FY 24, 23, and 22.
If you had to make a guess for 2 months into the second half of the year, is that 50% going to be enough?
It's hard to forecast. I mean, it's overtime's one of those things because when you look at overtime, you look at the CBA, the vacation time, the personal time, the holidays.
You don't have the training this year, and do you have the injuries this year, or is
The training we have every year.
for the firearms
We have to train still 2 times a year. Yeah.
extra?
Oh, not extra. No.
Not the extra. Okay, not the extra training on the firearms. Do you have any of the injuries this year?
Not yet. Don't jinx me. Don't jinx me. Trying to find my sheet that I have. So right now, to date, we were funded at the beginning at $270,000. Right now, currently, down around 76,000. Right. So going forward, that's not including estimated $57,000 between vacation time and holidays that they have to use by June 30th.
Or is that also budgeted into the benefits, vacation, sick buyback line?
It's all well. So a lot of the guys, no, it's not.
Okay.
No. So I mean, roughly right now, if we were going, I took the middle number of $5,400 a week, say in overtime and sick time. That would put us probably around the negative $9,486 in the negative.
But it's close.
So there's not a lot of wiggle room there.
Yeah.
At all. So we've reduced the overtime line. I want to say the last time I think we were with Administrator Mullen, where we reduced the overtime line back then. So I said, is that safe? And it's kind of, like I said, last year was kind of a weird year because we had 2 out injured around the same time. We had an officer slip and fall behind the station, and then we had the other officer that was out for a second, third time that was hit by the drunk driver on 44. So it was just a crazy year. And then when we fell into the mandate with the firearms, it was like, oh my God, it was like feast or famine, right? It's all going to hit us at once.
And do you run 8-hour shifts or 12?
8-hour shifts. 8 to 4s, 4 to 12s, and midnight days.
Bless you.
Sorry.
You hold the other?
Doug or Tom, anything?
I'm all set.
I do have a question. It actually pertains to the annual report. I noticed that there was no call log in the last annual report. The fire department provided one, and I think it's been in prior annual reports. Was there a reason why it was omitted?
A call log in last year's report?
Yeah, looking at it's actually year ending 24. I'm not sure if 25 is 25 been
I think we put the amount of calls for service that year. I don't think there was an actual call log.
Okay. Could I get a detail of that, of the call log? Just, they summarized the fire department calls. And I thought that was.
What do you mean, like categorizing, like
A type.
medicals, domestics, that kind of stuff?
Exactly, like the fire department has fire, rescue, and EMS, hazardous conditions, service calls.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, I can put something together for that for the annual report.
right. And what is the make and the model of the new cruiser that's coming in?
It's a 2026 Ford Explorer.
How many Chevy Tahoes does the town have?
2.
Does the police department have?
We have 2.
So what's the, why did we upgrade to a larger vehicle? Did we get 2 Tahoes?
Well, the Tahoes at the time, and we stayed with all black cruisers. We got rid of the black and white because it was $6,000 more a car. But we went to the Tahoes because it was a full frame. It was a full frame SUV versus the subframes, and the ratings on the cruisers and safety ratings were far succeeded the 24 and 25 Explorers before that. In 26 they changed everything around. That's why I went with Tahoe.
They're safer.
What's that?
They were safer.
Yeah, safer, but they haven't been too impressive with burning oil, and it's been back to the dealership twice for
They have the 5.7s or the 6.2s.
5.7s.
And last, I'm just curious, why Titan has a detective?
Why? We have a lot of, believe it or not, we have a lot of juvenile crimes, and we have a lot of crimes that go that keep him busy. I mean, we have people that come all the time with identity frauds, and there's all kinds of scams that go on that he stays pretty busy, sir. The town's grown, and the department's had a need for one, and we've had a full-time detective now for, I want to say, 5 years, 6 years, maybe longer.
Right.
Yep.
All right, thank you.
Where are you at with vehicles? Because I know last year we got a vehicle sheet. I didn't see one this year.
I haven't put in for a vehicle, so that's why I didn't submit one.
All right. So you're okay for or do you have some at the bottom that are getting
I'm
ready to
exploring
go?
an admin car right now, but I haven't got figures back yet, so.
Okay, all right. But you're okay for this year as far as the,
For the cruises we are.
yeah, okay.
Can you give one to the fire department?
Yeah, you can get one chief maybe.
Give one to Chief McGee.
We'll just have it wrapped in red.
Yeah, right. Wrap it in red instead of. He might not mind black. Black could probably be fine.
So, communications.
I just have one thing to add. I just wanted to say thank you for your zero base, the rationale that you gave for every line item. I find very transparent, and I feel you're one of the departments that set the standard for what I imagine the rest of the board were all looking for that. You kind of break everything out with a lot of detail, so it's helpful for us and the residents, so just wanted to thank you for that.
Thank you. Absolutely.
I do have one question, 5131 overtime. What was the TSG reimbursement? $7,000. Fiscal year 22?
Is that on police?
Yeah, please. 5131?
Are you looking at the zero base budget document?
Yes. Oh, and it's on this description.
7,000 FY 22. Yeah. I don't know what the heck that was.
Okay.
Can I look into that? Get back to you.
But that 7,000, does that go right back to your budget or to free cash?
I'm trying. A lot of it goes to free cash. A lot of it goes to free cash. A lot of it doesn't come back to us.
Right, that's why I'm asking.
Was that the?
22. It would have been our federal case.
Can I email you on that and let you know what that is?
TSG. Yeah. Thank you.
No, I'll have an answer for you Monday. I'm trying to remember.
Okay. And then Serena, maybe you know that, does that 7,000 stay in the police department or does it come back to free cash?
I would have to look into what that was, yeah.
I'm trying to remember what that was.
I wasn't employed that year.
But I'll let you know after.
Sure, thank you.
Sometimes I put abbreviations and then I'm like,
What did I mean? I know what you mean.
communications. Communications, I level funded everything. There's no increases on anything but obviously the obvious with the anything contractual.
do the salaries and the overtime line. Anything that affected through the CBA, like benefits and sick time, and the salaries are the only thing that affected the communications budget.
Nobody in communications, we're not negotiating anybody there.
No.
On the no debt side, we did take into account some of their grant money, which is why the town administrator's recommendation is lower.
Any questions on communications?
No. 5151 training? Under that 250.
For the annual training they have to do to stay certified, we have to send them, they have to get like Con Ed hours, or like, nurses need, what do they call those?
Oh, yeah, continuing ed, yep.
Continuing education hours, they need the same thing under the new, they need to do training as well, annual training.
Okay. And how many people do we have in communications right now?
We have 4 full-time, and then we got 1 part-time.
And they all need to go through the training?
They all need to go through it.
Okay, thank you.
The part-timers we try to use for, under the grant funding, so that doesn't cost the town anything.
All right, thank you.
How many part-time dispatchers are you looking for? I know I've asked
It'd
before.
be nice to have 3 or 4 on the books, but the last gentleman that we just appointed, he's going through the schooling right now, and we're just trying to get through it, trying to navigate, so we'll see if we make it to the end.
I have an idea for you. You guys have put out some really cool videos in the past.
Yes.
It'd be really cool to do like a nice, engaging video of your communications department and try to get folks interested.
Not a bad idea.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Yeah.
It is a good idea.
I know it's not enough hours in the day for everything.
No, it's not a bad idea,
Right, exactly. Yep.
All right, yeah, I'll take that into
If
consideration.
you
Nice.
get the high schoolers taking the new CTE criminal justice, I mean, you may get some knowledge.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
All right, so ACO, was the last. Same thing with the animal cost, nothing, no changes to anything, and except for anything contractual under her contract, which would just affect her salary.
So I guess I had not maybe a question on like a line item, it was more just kind of an overarching question. What would be the impact of us not having an animal control officer, and what would that look like operationally if we had to outsource that to a neighboring
So
town?
it's funny enough that I've been in talks with Mr. Taco about that, trying to pre-plan for things, and as a town, we need one. We need an animal control officer. We have to have somebody designated as an animal control officer.
Legally?
Yes, we need an animal control officer. So, that being said, whether that's full-time or part-time, or if there's a neighboring community that would want to be involved to maybe split the costs.
Okay.
But I reached out to Rainham. Rainham has right now a part-time employee. They don't have any full-time. I reached out to Swansea and Somerset. They already have a joint PCO program. They want no part of adding a third. Rehoboth, they don't want any part of it. And Berkeley, we're kind of, things are still like kind of new with that. If anything, it would be nice to maybe split it with Berkeley if that's what it came down to. But we need we have to have an animal control officer.
Through the chairs, if I may, to follow up with the chief's conversation, we were exploring, we were hoping to have an option for a no debt for the no debt exclusion. And if you see that the chief had not funded, didn't fund the ACO position, But unfortunately, at this time, since we need an ACO and we don't have a viable option going into fiscal year 27, I made the recommendation to continue to fund. We're going to, again, we're going to continually look at it. We have, we're going to engage in discussions with Berkeley, but I don't have any solid number at this time. And again, it's a necessity for the town to have.
The Board of Selectmen asked for a joint meeting with the Berkeley Selectmen and Town Administrator and ACO. Has that invitation been extended yet to them?
I casual conversation with the town administrator over there. So we wanted to get through this process. You know, these meetings first, and then we'll re-engage.
Yeah, because I think we could. Even for this budget cycle, if we had a joint meeting, we might be able to find some solutions.
It's been definitely an active topic that Mr. Matako approached before months ago, just forecasting, you know, the what ifs. We're trying to come to some kind of resolution.
I don't imagine that she's busy every day of the week per se. Are there other duties within your department that would fit into the scope of her possibly helping, as far as not having her have to cut any hours at all and have it be a part-time job, so that we could actually say, well, she is serving as ACO, but she's also doing A, B, and C for the department or the community or whatever it may be, and then we don't have to have this conversation at all.
Right.
It's a thought.
It's a thought.
You know what I mean?
I will explore, but like a lot of things like certifications, schooling, you know, I mean, you have to be certified in certain things like that.
Right.
I have a administrative assistant right now, so.
Right.
There's nothing really I can. Her call volume though. We ran her calls. Mr. Matako, do you remember what the numbers were off the top of your head?
Was it?
It was quite a few numbers per year.
Right. Yeah.
So it was kind of shocking as to how many calls for service she does have.
Yeah.
So because we were looking at that in the beginning too, so I ran her calls for service, and her numbers were up there. Believe it or not.
Okay.
It's one of those jobs that you may not see her out and about during the day, but she's getting called out at night, weekends. So there are calls that stack up, and I think the average was like 1 to 2 calls a day when you broke it all down. So
I'm just thinking, rather than putting it in a position where now we're going to see, you know, she's going to possibly be dropped to part-time and then fielded out to another part-time city. Let's see if we can, you know, fill it a little bit where we don't have to have this conversation at all.
Agreed.
Just a thought.
Agreed.
Any other questions for the chief? Any other questions for the chief on the ACO?
No, good.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chief.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Board of Assessors.
Faster to get here. So, I submitted, my budget on my board's instructions. So, I don't know, but I know I got the same budget with the debt exclusion and without the debt exclusion. So, I'm not sure where there's questions, you want me to just go through?
Do you guys have any questions?
No.
Peter, you guys have questions?
Any questions on the assessor?
The rationale is pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
If I may. So the Board of Assessors, Bill Moore, Chairman of the Board of Assessors, we instructed Stephanie, she was given an edict to come in with lower budgets. We have no spare personnel hours in our office. So what we instructed her to prepare, and what you have in front of you, is the same as last year with only contractual increases. And that's it. So we believe this is the bare minimum that the assessor's office can operate with under. Understand the assessor's office is an integral part of the town. This town we collect our money. If we don't have a fully staffed assessor's office, we may be in situations where we could get fined. You know, if we don't get abatements done on time, we have a time limit that we have to do things under, and the job won't get done, and taxes won't come in. It's a problem of, you know, you're not going to spend $10 today to lose $100 tomorrow. It just doesn't make any sense. So this is why we submitted the budget as minimal as we possibly could. We added nothing that we didn't absolutely need. And I'm willing to take any questions.
So we had clerk in this department also negotiations. So that 8% is part of the, and there's some kind of.
Their reclassification under there.
Yeah.
Appreciate your efforts, truly.
Thank you.
Thank you. We're good. Conservation, you're up.
Okay. Jim Digits, Chairman, Conservation Commission. Okay, as you can see, our request is at zero. We did not increase in anything. We had to go through hoops to give Lisa a little bit of extra money that other departments are getting because of the union. And, you know, it's almost a shame that we had to cut in other areas to do that, but we did it. Now, since the time that we actually we wrote up this budget, the commission was given the gas card for Lisa to do her site visits and whatever else that she has to do within town, which can be quite extensive. It used to be held by, I think it was the building department, and now we have the card to fill the tank. It seems like there must be a mistake here. We have $100 for the year to fill the car with gas. I know that when I meet Lisa at various sites for visits, and I come often to the town to sign papers, that I probably spend $20 in my own personal car to do what I need to do to assist her. $100 doesn't seem like it's going to go very far when she has to travel throughout the town multiple times to visit sites.
Put the $100 in.
I don't know.
We had a discussion with the conservation agent because she's starting to use the car now, so that's what came up. It's a hybrid, and it's still used between the three departments.
How many site visits can you do on $100, even if you have I mean, and this, I believe the Board of Health is using the car, the building inspector will be using the car. $100 might take her a month on that gas card. So I'll let you think about it. Maybe the car will just sit there once the $100 is drained. I don't know.
The other two departments will pay for their own gas as they would.
I'm sorry?
The other two departments that share that vehicle are going to be paid for their own.
I have no idea.
Yes, they will.
They have a card I hope it's sufficient enough because no one really knows who uses the most or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? Is Lisa going to use the car 1/10 or 1/12 of the time when, or I don't know. It just, who gets to fill it and at what point? It seems like one card would be more appropriate than one person becomes responsible for filling it all the time rather than someone leaving the car empty and saying, guess what?
If I understand correctly, all three departments will have a card
Yes.
available for gas.
Yes.
What are the other people getting?
It varies in every budget.
Any questions for the conservation?
I have some, I feel, is this okay? Did the Conservation Commission vote on this budget?
Yes.
Yes, we did.
And as a part of that vote, was gasoline a part of that conversation?
That was not in
That
there.
came up later.
That came up after the fact.
No problem. And why was the rationale backup not submitted with the budget? Do you know?
I'm sorry?
So as part of the zero-based budget, you're supposed to give rationale for each line item. Do you know why that wasn't submitted with the budget? Was it just an oversight or?
What do you need rationale on?
So that you have the same playing field as every other department, and as part of the zero-based, for every line you're supposed to give rationale. So we did get it later, but the second largest
Ralph, but that wasn't submitted?
line item has no
I
rationale.
thought that was all submitted to you, why Lisa should be paid for her job and the clerical minutes and the educational stipend. I thought that was all taken care of.
We didn't get the zero-based part, the explanation part, the increase. So,
I'm sorry, but I can't hear you. Evidently my ears are getting too old.
When the budgets were due in January, that document just came in and all of the descriptions said level funded.
Yeah.
So I didn't print that because that's not, just level funded is not quite the explanation that is needed. And then it was asked to have that follow up, and that this document was produced a few days ago, so everybody would have it for this meeting.
What is it that you need to have explained?
Well, first I want an explanation as why it wasn't included in the packet, because I think you were the only department that didn't. And second, your second largest cost item is professional and technical with no backup. It's $2,171.
Okay, well, that has something, we have fees that we do get from the town lawyer. He is doing work for us now and we get bills from him. We have at times work done on the computer that we need assistance with, and that's off the top of my head. I'm sure that there's others, but certainly the legal that we have to deal with, because we're dealing with a couple of cases right now, and we're trying to maintain our spending within that limit even.
Okay. Thank you for the explanation. Would you mind asking either the Conservation Commission or the agent just to submit to us in writing that one box? Because you said it's just what comes to mind in case there's anything else. Because it's a specific number. It looks like, it's even down to 5 cents,
So you want 5,300 to be explained. That's the only one.
Thank you.
Did anyone find how much money the other departments get for gas?
Sure. The building department has budgeted $400.
How much?
400.
400.
And Board of Health is the other one that drives it. Oh, and veterans. So veterans has $100. I don't see anything for it at all. Yeah. So the veterans in the building have $1,000 budgeted.
Okay.
What is the board thought on just having one account, taking out all of those apartments and just having one account for gas, just so we can track it. Because I feel like that's going to pit the departments against each other and
Who fills it in a way?
yeah, and exactly who fills it, and then we could track it better overall.
Right,
Spending
each
on
card
gas.
number is different, so you would know who spent it.
We could still track it that way, exactly.
Right
Just
now,
a thought.
Oh, sorry. I was just gonna say, right now, the building department, when it was being used, and the veterans, they have one account number with WEX, so when that one bill would come in, they would separate it themselves on which expense went to which department. So we did say that once the building commissioner is hired again, that they would have to figure out that car situation between the three of them. I think Lisa only started using it after Jim Aguirre departed, and the car was sitting there available.
What's your thoughts on so the Board of Health, Conservation, and Veterans? They're all supervised under the town administrator. What's your thoughts on like we centralize our billing for commingle and all that stuff? What's your thoughts on having like the town administrator work with those departments to come up with a number each fiscal year to have it one line item?
Just pull it over.
All
My
of
only
those
concern
over.
would be like each department verifying the legality of those charges, because we've had those cards compromised in the past. So it being specifically to that department's responsible to sign off on those charges.
If it's,
Don't go to get lost.
could they still pay the bills? Just have the that line item come out of.
We could have like the one expense line under the town administrator that they still sign off.
Still sign off on the charges.
Yeah. Would you want them to still say which charges are theirs?
I have where I work. We have each department head has credit cards, and we still have to produce all the documents to the auditor's office that charges were ours. If we could come up with like a similar process that the department head is responsible for their bills, of course.
We could put it under department like 192 for the buildings. That's more of like a shared expense type of department.
Okay.
Which is still controlled under the Board of Selectmen.
Okay.
So
Whatever,
it's
just whatever to make it more efficient for the departments and not pay, who's getting 300 for gas or 100 for gas.
Or what if $100 is out, but they need to fill it, right?
Right. We can talk about take it under advisement.
Okay.
Thanks.
How many departments are using that vehicle?
Does the Board of Health actually use that vehicle?
The veterans doesn't, they have that white van.
So then, 3
So it's a building and Board of Health and Conservation?
currently.
3, okay.
I think stormwater was under there at one point too. One Todd was here, he would use it for stormwater meetings.
In the past.
We'll work on it.
Okay. Anything else?
Good.
I'm just gonna say that there's a really good app that you can use. Take a picture of your receipt, put the reason down, what department it was. So it would make Serena's job much easier if we're gonna track everything into one central location for the gas.
It's a work in progress.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This was, are you doing Board of Health too? Just trash?
I got trash and Board of Health.
Yep.
Unfortunately, after the snow closure and I got tonsillitis, I wasn't able to submit the finalized budget. So after, the one you have is the one I originally submitted. Serena, Ralph and I met and they've made some adjustments. So this is the actual numbers that the board voted on. I apologize.
When did the board vote on this?
February 17th. We had our regular meeting.
the waste did go up, I think Ralph got those numbers from Mr. Borges. So the items that are in red are the ones that were changed
Okay.
after we met with Ralph and Serena.
Ralph, you had already budgeted at 180 anyways for.
Yeah, I think it's slightly up, 187.25.
Yeah, so that's why I was just wondering, did you?
Yeah, that's
cognition now. You just know it was gonna go up prior to the.
No, that was a number because we had gotten a month, 6 weeks ago, something from CMAS, so we based it on the tonnage. It went up approximately $7,000 from last year. The other numbers, rubbish collection, recycling collection, is based on the contractual agreement we have in place. That was signed last year with Borges Brothers, that 3-year contract. So. And the CMAS recycling, we had gotten those numbers from CMAS. That's what those are all based on.
The CMAS, is that more of a springtime cost?
I'm sorry, Peter.
Is that more of a springtime cost?
It's based on, as far as I know, it's based on tonnage that goes to them. So why is it at 30%?
The bills, it's kind of like the utility bills, it's a month behind.
Okay.
Did you guys increase bag prices? Have they increased bag prices last year?
Yeah.
Did you notice a change at all?
No, because the rates went up, so we're still in deficit.
No, I meant more like a change in tonnage. Yeah, like did you notice a change in tonnage?
No.
Because I know that was a concern of like, oh, what's the fulcrum point? Yeah,
Right.
exactly. Like what's the fulcrum point?
I know the waste reduction committee is working on a swap shed, so people can, bring these items that still in good condition for other people to take.
Okay.
We're also trying to promote composting. So we have compost bins that we have a grant that paid for half of it, so the resident only has to pay for half. It's a pretty decent container, and it's not godly unsightly. It's it's big. So I believe Mr. Perry's going to go out and promote compost bins. So trying to find ways to get the weight out of there.
Yes.
And the cost of bags went up too as well from our contractor, so that went up. I did recently reach out to a few companies for quotes to see if we could get a better rate on trash bags. So I'm waiting to hear back from them.
How much did the rate on the bags, how much did it eat into the increase we put on last year?
They went up about $2,000.
So per bag is about, do you have any idea?
I don't know.
Okay.
All
right.
That's not a lot compared to.
If I remember correctly, I think with the bag increase prices, we estimated a revenue increase of approximately somewhere between $65,000 and $70,000. So didn't eat into it too much.
We do have a recommendation from the Waste Reduction Committee as well to bring to the Board of Health to see if they would want to increase the bag price from $28 to $30, and then the smalls to $15. To try to help eat some of that. We didn't raise the bags for a number of years. I want to say it was 2017 or 2018, so it stayed the same for a long time.
And it's still reasonable, asking surrounding towns what their bag prices are. We're not outrageous, we're pretty much in line. It's not low.
The big bag fits 3 or 4 kitchen-sized trash bags in it.
Yeah.
So like, what are we doing here?
I mean, at most 3 bags a week, so that's $9. It's still like
it's really not that
inexpensive.
Dumpsters, probably $100 a month. So
Correct.
It's still definitely cheaper. Hopefully the swap shed and the compost bins, people, yeah.
I think I would love maybe something that you guys could look into in partnering maybe with the library or the COA in doing some education sessions there to get people into the composting thing.
Yeah.
Would be cool. Just host like, no, people get scared about it because they don't know about it. It's really not that hard. You put in a bunch of shit in a bucket, like, you know. I mean, it's gotta be the right stuff, right? But like, it's not.
27% of the waste is food scraps. Like, it's a lot.
That's a lot, and
if
that's
you get
heavy.
that weight out of there, it'd be cheaper.
Yeah.
So we definitely want to push that now that the weather's warming up. So
Right. It's a win-win. Feed your yard.
Yeah, it's great for gardens.
yeah, you get the soil out of it.
Mm-hmm.
And the bins are really nice. They're pest proof. They're, you know, they're black. They can hide in the back corner of your property.
Right. I think that's what a lot of people are more worried about is inviting animals with your scraps. But yeah,
No,
very
they're
convenient.
pretty solid. I've had.
Yes.
I mean, I bought 5 4 years ago when we didn't have them from Taunton, and because I had a buddy who lives in Taunton, and I was like, I need some, and they don't care. They're fine. They've held up great, and all the stuff we've had going on. So the bins are not an issue. It's just using them.
Well, we're gonna have a table at the fair in May.
Okay.
To promote it. So Mr. Perry said he would be willing to stay out there and try to get people.
Yeah, you should set one up too.
Yeah.
And like have it.
Yeah, we had one last year. We had it last year.
Right.
Cool.
It's just, you gotta keep at it.
That's the truth.
I have one thing to add.
Sure.
So I just like to be consistent with my comments. So, you know, I like to be predictable with some of the things I say. So I'll just say I get sickness and life and storms get in the way. But if the Board of Health voted on this on February 17th, I would just challenge you and the Board of Health just to try to get these things in our hands as soon as possible. Even if it was yesterday, that would have been a lot better than today, right? Walking into a meeting. And then also going through the town accountant and the town administrator so that they can get it out to us. I would much rather see that process. So just for next year's budget cycle, I really like, I challenge everyone for that consistency and everyone operating on that same playing field. So I appreciate it.
When I printed it out today, I was like, uh-oh, this isn't the right one. So I went to Serena, I was like,
okay,
you got an oopsie.
No problem. I get it. And I know things change and budget numbers change and life gets crazy. But those are just my thoughts overall. Yeah. To the
Well,
best.
if it makes you feel any better, it's lower.
that?
It's lower.
Oh, that does
You
make
know
me
what I
feel
mean?
better, for sure. Yes.
We did, make changes, the no debt exclusion, the salaries, I think cut in half. The, board members.
Oh, sorry. Are we on the Board of Health now?
Yeah,
Are we
I'm
good with?
sorry. Are you done with waste?
Is there any questions on the waste?
I think it's kind of locked in, it's just contracted,
Yeah.
Correct. There's not much we can control there.
5582 with the recycling stickers, is that the landfill stickers?
No, those are just stickers that we offer for people to put on their recycling bins.
Oh.
Yeah, and I have a pretty good stockpile of them, so they're free, so when people come in, I, help them out.
All right.
New residents come in, I definitely give them some.
Right. Okay, thank you.
Sorry, I was like, where are we?
Oh, that's okay, I apologize.
So stipend reduction.
That was reduced because there's only gonna be office manager. I didn't have it in the contract for the health agent, so the only stipend would be for the office manager that comes over once we get one.
Why were we the inspector line for this year? 146% over.
No, he's 9,000 is what we had last year. Ralph suggested keeping it at 9,000. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying, but we had the actual expenditures for the year at 13.
I can answer that.
Oh, yeah.
We had the assistant inspector fill in, so his salary was getting charged to that line.
Gotcha. Okay. Again, I'm always love seeing lower numbers, but if they're just made up and then they're gonna go up anyways, why?
Yeah. Unfortunately, we lost Matt Tanis, so we've been using Jerry Bernard for a lot throughout the year. And his fees are a lot more.
And then what was the rationale for the office manager decrease?
So that, I think the plan is to combine the office manager roles for the building and Board of Health and make one position. So they took half the salary from Board of Health and half the salary from veterans and building, because I believe that is gonna be all one person, veterans building. So I don't know how the percentage works. But
No, that's fine. I just trying to understand.
Yeah, so that'll be what comes out of the Board of Health for that position.
And then we have overtime in there, but we haven't used the funds from last year yet.
No.
Oh, looks like we lost Doug.
Oh, he's still on there. But he's
Oh,
not.
his camera's not on.
Yeah.
Mark, do you think you could go down? No, thank you.
Do anything?
No.
Anybody else on Board of Health?
Nope.
Thank you. Thank you.
Ralph, you doing duties tonight?
Yes, sir. Give me 1 moment.
Building department?
I think so.
Yeah, 241.
So, addressing the building department, during the time of this budget, we don't have we do not have an official, building commissioner in place. So, our no debt exclusion and our debt exclusion, numbers are the same. We level funded, most everything. The increase, you see the increase in the building commissioner salary. We tried to go to part-time. We tried that for a short time and it was an unsuccessful experiment. So we did a salary survey and so we're in the process of finding a new building commissioner. So that's so we have that salary schedule.
Cross off the part-time there?
Right, well, yes. So again.
Part-time at $100,000, Ralph, would be very nice.
That's your thing, huh?
Yeah, sign me up. Sign me up.
So,
you can sign me up for that. I'm
yeah, so we kept everything looked like the budget was staying the same with our with our local building inspector, level funded it. As you can see in the salary of the office manager, we're cutting that position, so we're funding it appropriately. We're just keeping the overtime hours in case it's needed. Our old building commissioner used to get a food allowance. We're going to cut that. We're not going to include that for the new one. The benefits and sick time. That's for the current building administrative assistant. We anticipate that we're not going to need that next year. So we were able to strike that line. Equipment and repairs maintenance again, we level funded it, just, it looked like, we could do that. When we get to 5380, demolition of deteriorated structures, we had, $10,000 set aside. That's when the building commissioner calls for a building to be demolished, and then we kind of make it safe. There's nothing on the schedule for that, but we need some funds in there in case we need it. So we were comfortable with reducing that by 50% to $5,000 in case that's required. And then I guess again everything else, as we saw, we level funded. That's it.
Now for demo, do you know of anything for this?
We have nothing scheduled at this time, so that's why we were comfortable dropping it down to 5,000. So I don't think they've used that line in a few years, but you never know what happens, a storm, fire, or anything, anything comes up, so.
How come the overtime hours didn't get reduced proportionately? Should it be half?
You know what? I took a look at it, and I mean it's something. If the recommendation is
no
there, I
big
have
deal.
nothing. As I was going through the budget, I saw it, and I said that's something we could continue to level fund in case we need it.
No, I'm just thinking if the veterans agent is going to be split, but the overtime here is the same as if it was just the regular building inspector's office manager overtime.
It's a
Yeah,
good
it's
point.
not a big deal. It's just.
Okay, next line is the gas inspection. Again, it looks like, target number, we're halfway, so we level funded that at $6,750. Similarly, and the permit review education, I don't know if you remember, but last year, the previous building commissioner, so we struck that so he could give the inspectors a better rate. So it winds up kind of being the same. So again, with the plumbing inspector, kind of we're at that 50% mark, so I felt comfortable in leaving that at $7,750. If I can move weights and measures, that's something the state does. Just looking at the numbers, predicting what it would be, we're looking at $3,000, up from $3,000. It's something we paid, we paid upfront. And the last one is the electrical inspector. Again, just looking at the numbers, it seems like we were on track, so I proceeded to level fund that, which made sense.
You got the electrical inspections, these are our new builds, new buildings?
It's a combination of new builds, anybody does electrical work, so.
Okay, pulls a permit for that?
Pulls a permit for that, you have to get it.
So, in the end, do these fees come back to us for his inspection?
Yes. Yeah,
Okay.
That's in our local receipts. Yeah.
So all in all, we're expecting permits to be roughly in line next year.
That's the thing, yeah. Probably about even a little more for half it. But we don't see any great increase coming down the road.
Not a big decrease either.
Not a big decrease either. Hopefully, if we get another pandemic. Permits, so it seems like a lot of home improvements, though.
Yes.
the pandemic, which, you know, car excise tax may go down, but permits go up, so I'm not advocating for it. For another pandemic.
I would have thought excise went up, less miles.
No, it's like no new car, you know, not people.
Oh, nobody buying it.
Yeah, it's based off year, yeah. But they yanked all those solar bennies away too, so they get less solar installs, I'm sure too, that are coming down the pipe, residential.
Yeah, I'm really not confident to report on that, because I don't know, but with that, right, that there is an included electrical inspection as well.
It was fast on mine, right?
Guys, any questions on the inspector lines?
Oh, good. Thanks, Rob.
That's all, sorry.
Oh, yes,
Yes,
thank
free.
you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good job, bro.
I'm gonna put in for a boot request.
right,
Since
there
I
you
did.
go.
What was the hardest inspection you've done this week?
Yeah, you know, I've been changing the clocks.
That was hard.
Yeah.
Some healthcare might reimburse for that too, so it's like a benefit for some plans. On Bristol Plymouth Vocational, I don't think they're gonna make it tonight.
No.
And I think as a matter of principle, back to that even playing field, everybody should have to present. But I also don't wanna have a special meeting on Thursday. Okay. So what are your thoughts on just inviting them to our meeting, and I don't wanna speak for you guys, but inviting them to your finance committee meeting too?
Are they only not here because of the handout?
You know, they gave us the handout for tomorrow night, but, you know, I didn't follow up with it personally, but I made the assumption they were coming since they put the
Yep.
handout in the news.
They usually come.
And they usually come. We do have a meeting, I know we have a meeting scheduled for the 17th, I know if it's just, Bristol Plymouth, it would be quick, so, we did have that on the schedule, so one more joint meeting after, in case we need it. So.
Okay. I'm not opposed to that.
Yeah, whatever you want to do.
I'm not opposed to having them come or doing that. If we can avoid a Thursday.
I'd prefer not to have a special meeting for it,
Right,
but
okay.
I think they should
Especially
have
for
one
the
of our
show.
meetings present, like everyone else has to. So,
I mean-
and it's good for the public too.
Not to speak for everybody, but I'm fine with having them come to your meeting and we can just join the Zoom.
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah.
Cool.
Our next scheduled meeting is March 25th, so I just want to make sure everybody's okay with that date.
I'm okay with the 25th. You guys? Yeah?
Sure.
Okay.
I did, when I read their email, I kind of had a feeling they weren't going to show tonight.
Finance committee.
So we have ours, we had talked last year about returning the stipends to normal, so that's what I left. Back up. Travel anymore, no using subscriptions, are just the state for MMA fee.
Yep.
And reserve, again, back to where it was at the 55.
No.
Oh, thanks.
Thank you. Anything else, Ralph?
No, sir. It's on our-
The next meeting for finance committee is scheduled for April 16th
April 16th?
at Old Town Hall in the basement.
Town hall.
Town hall in the basement, not the hotel.
Is anyone going to be going to the school committee budget meeting?
On the 24th?
Yeah.
I do intend on going.
Yeah, me too. Be interested.
Yes. It'd be nice to hear some of the public comment.
Yeah.
Is that the final?
That is their final public hearing, and then they're voting on their final budget after that meeting.
Okay.
just, and I know it's been like the third year in a row that I've asked the same questions of them, and that we've yet to have them, specifically the administrator staffing levels, described to us, and it's really frustrating when he talks about, we have a 20-person deficit, and I'm like, you're using post-COVID level staffing levels. You can't use that as that's not the barometer that you should be using when you had millions of dollars in state and federal aid being given to you as the barometer of what your funding level should be. We need to be looking at what it looked like prior, and I know Mr. Rooney was not there then, so, but that's why I keep asking for it for 3 years. I just keep asking.
To me, it doesn't make a difference whether he was there or not. He owns it.
I know.
And like I said earlier, it concerns me that every year there's a major increase without really any accountability. We need 4%, and they get 4%. And this year, I don't think we can do it.
No.
Not when you're talking layoffs. And that's why I asked him what percentage of those 20 teachers that they haven't filled is of their total teachers. Because if it's 2%, that's not so bad when your enrollment's down. I understand it's up this year, but you should have been cutting all along if your enrollment's down, not saying, look what I've done.
So Ralph sent yesterday to Sue the count from 2021-22 to 2025-26. The count went from 1539 to 1420, so it's an 8.5% decrease. And I mean, I know my youngest graduated in 2017, and at the high school there was 100 more kids. I believe at the elementary and middle there was probably an extra at least 50 kids there.
Sure.
So we're talking 1,800 at that point.
Yep.
So we're down to 1,420 from.
That's substantial.
It is.
And we've asked everybody else to come in. Well, it's the law. You got to come in at 2.5% or less. We don't have that option. So if they're going to take that percentage, then something else has to decrease. And everybody else is already decreasing. We can't go back and say you got to decrease more.
Or if you need to increase it more, you need to find it somewhere else.
Find it someplace else as an income from a grants or whatever.
Right. If I could share, I spoke with Eliza Kuchar from the school committee, asking her about these, and she herself expressed all the school committee members would like to come before the selectmen boards again. Before, I know when I was on the school committee, we did that, and you were separate from the administrator.
Yeah.
So the conversation can be, they're the ones doing the contract negotiations and stuff. So if we give them a definitive 2%, I mean, Ed Schwartz, when he was here before, was very good as far as telling us, knowing we were going into contract negotiations, exactly what your percentage area was. Do not go above this.
Right.
And everybody knew it.
Yeah. When I was on the finance committee, we gave them the number.
Correct.
It was going to be,
So they would like to return to that openness.
Yeah.
And as far as us giving them the ability to know what their spending budget is.
Yeah. Right. You stay within it. You know what your income is, and you personally do your own, whether you do a budget or not, I don't know, but you don't spend more than what you take in.
Exactly. Every household does that.
Right.
So yeah, if maybe we can, I know at this point, they are voting on the 24th before our next meetings. But if we can meet them even, not waiting till budget season, right in the middle, have a meet and greet in the spring or whatever, before town meeting or whatever, and maybe the same in the fall. Just to keep the.
They used to show up.
Yeah, and they're happy to do it again.
I don't know why nobody was even here this evening. At least the two members who are on the committee.
Because they have their meeting tonight.
Yeah, I guess so.
It should have been on a Thursday night because, and being here for a 6 o'clock meeting and their meeting starts at 6:30, that is not giving time for a good conversation
And
and exchange of ideas.
That wasn't great, right? Him rushing off to go do something, that wasn't, I'm sure we would have had more questions.
Yeah.
So that wasn't.
Well, everybody was rushed.
Right.
And
I think if I may, what other communities do to sort of, they have what's typically called a tri-board meeting, something we could do in December, really right before the budget starts, to have a board of selectmen, our school committee, and FinCom all together, just to have that discussion and set expectations.
Yes.
It's a great idea.
Would that be something that you would, I guess have to would be a strong word, but would you have to invite Rehoboth as well? So everybody's on the same page, or?
I would have to look into that. I think it might not be a bad idea, but I think initially it should be, initially we could start with Dayton, right?
Yeah.
So and we could develop that as we get closer, because we want the school committee to sort of, it's not, right, we're not here to beat anybody up. And
Right.
We invited the school committee last year.
Right.
And, we want to make sure that, they, fully appreciate, the budget situation we are in as a town. So I think, if we engage, that way, and I'm happy to say, I know she's very reasonable. I'm glad, that we kind of had that initial conversation yesterday, because I think that's a good idea. It would really help the process, the more
Yes.
they could be involved, not, right, collaborative, not adversarial.
Exactly,
Yeah.
and I think they appreciate the information, knowing they've got some guidance.
Now, it's not for me to have to come to Ralph's defense because he doesn't need it, but that 4% was not a suggestion. It was put in there because we had to put a number in there when Ralph was putting the budgets together. No different than Bristol Plymouth and Bristol Aggie were 8%. Our first meeting that we had with Mr. Rooney and his counterpart for finance, what's his name? Leo. The first words out of his mouth is, "How come you're asking 4% from us but giving the other two schools 8%?" And I was flabbergasted. This is how you want to start budget negotiations? Saying, how come they're getting this and we're not? But again, it was just strictly a budget number that Ralph had to put in. It wasn't saying go to town with 4%.
Mm-hmm.
And now say I'm a hero because I came in at 3.1. To me, it doesn't work that way.
2.9, right? Your number was 2.9.
I know it's the rate, we're working at not to exceed 3%. Yeah.
The easy answer there is the other, BP, the number went up. Our student count
Yeah.
went up.
Yeah.
They pulled more from you guys.
Right.
Yeah, those are formulaic answers, right? Those are very straightforward why those numbers go up. It's number of students times cost per student, and here it is.
And our Bristol Aggie number went down.
Right,
Exactly. We had fewer students.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's a very straightforward thing. This packet of all the line items is not.
We want to go to a per student.
Yeah, right, yeah, if you want to do that, that's great. And then you can just call it that, and then we can argue about that.
You talk about the Chapter 70 money, and therefore they have to make up for in other ways, or increase the lines in other ways. But your gas bill is just going up 50 cents a gallon. You have to make up for it, not income, unless you go get a part-time job. You're going to have to cut something.
Correct.
And I don't understand why the logic can't be the same. I know we're a municipality and we don't live by home budget rules, but
We should. You can't spend more than you're taking in.
right. A motion to adjourn?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second, just on discussion, if you don't mind, I just have one follow-up. Ralph, do you mind putting an earmark in your calendar for December? Because
Yes,
you're the
no
best person
problem.
to coordinate
Right.
that. Okay.
Yep, no problem. Not a problem.
Thank you. That's all I have.
Make a motion.
We're gonna vote.
Oh,
Aye.
Somebody's got a second first.
Oh, I
Oh, did you say? I'm sorry.
It's on discussion.
Oh, okay. All three of us are ayes. Thank you.
I make a motion to, so what I'm looking for.
Adjourn.
Adjourn, thank you.
Run
I
it
lost it, it hasn't gone.
So we make our recommendations on the 25th?
Second.
You guys meet
All
on
in
the
favor?
17th of April?
Aye.
Aye.
We're good.
Bye, Tom.
Bye, Tom.